it's Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be scrapping these 3 pictures here from my garden last year, and look how cute. It's a little baby zucchini and a little baby some other kind of squash. I can't remember what it was, and another zucchini. But I am going to be using the Sunny Memories from Pretty Little Studio, designed by Zena Amorido. I apologize if I messed that up, from abstractinspiration.com. I've got some stickers and cut aparts, the papers and die cuts, and I am going to be doing the Scraplift challenge. It's the 3rd challenge for September over on the Pretty Little Studio fans Facebook group. And this layout here by Kat Benjamin is the layout that we are scraplifting from. So let's get started. Y'all, I had so much fun making this layout, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit. But first, I've got some plain white cardstock for my background, and I'm going to be trimming down these photos to, I think there's 3, is that 3 or 4? Yeah, 3 inches square. Now, the layout that I'm scraplifting from, her photos are much smaller. And of course, me and my inability to really comprehend measurements was thinking that cutting my photos down to 3 inches would give me plenty of room to do lots of layering and everything. But no, there's not enough room. I kind of had that same problem in my last layout from the 1, 2, 3, 4 recipe challenge. But that's okay. We're gonna just make it work. And like I said before, I had so much fun making this layout, and I really love how it turned out. Even though my photos are a bit larger, which you can see right here, they definitely cover up a lot of real estate. And because I have the 6x6 papers from this collection, I'm not going to be able to make my background work. And see here, I'm like, ugh, measurements strikes again. I'm just like, I have measurement blindness or something. I don't know what the problem is, but it strikes again, and I'm not going to get as many layers as I was hoping. And I'm not going to be able to use this really fun multicolored paper behind all of my photos. But that's okay, because this collection has some wonderful papers in it. And so I'm going to look through here and see if I can't find something else to kind of be similar. And I find this paper here with all of the words with the really fun, funky font that is multicolored, and it's going to really blend in well with the little squares here. So I've got that situated, and now it is like I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these glued down with my ATG tape and get those situated. Now, I am so excited to even have these pictures, because I live in Alabama, I'm in the South, and it is now impossible to grow squash because of a critter called the squash vine borer. And if you don't know what that is and you've never had to deal with it, count yourself blessed beyond measure. Because if you love to eat squash, you can't hardly grow a squash plant when the squash vine borers are active. And we have a very long growing season down here. And they come out in the spring. So even if you plant early, which can be difficult because we can get some late frosts, even well into April, which will kill a squash plant because they don't like cold. But these squash vine borers, oh, that's a moth. Okay, it's a moth, and it will lay its eggs on the underside of the squash plant's leaves, and when these things hatch, they bore, they fall down to the ground and they bore into the stalk of the squash. And if you didn't know, a squash vine is hollow in the center. So these little worm things take up residence there, and then they just suck the life out of the plant. I mean, you can have this glorious, beautiful looking squash plant, and then truly, overnight, it is just a sad little wilted, half-dead plant. And it happens overnight. And it's so frustrating. And I have struggled. I've tried to do plants early. I have tried to do succession planting. I have tried to wrap the stalk or the vine in aluminum foil. People do that. There's things that you can buy that you're like you put like a plastic cup, and bury it down a little bit below, just to try to keep the little worms from getting up on the vine. And nothing has worked. Nothing. Until this year. And so, 2023. This was last year's garden. And I am so excited that I have these. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But I guess I really should be telling you what I'm doing on my layout instead of complaining about vine borers. But I am truly just following the layout, and I'm not able to get as many layers as she has under her photos, which is just gorgeous. All those layers are gorgeous. So I'm kind of using this little cluster here to help me bring in another layer. So this collection has a lot of washi type stickers, and so I'm going to be using a lot of those on this layout, especially for these little scallop borders. Now you could use a scallop punch, but I didn't want to dig one out, so I just used my scissors and cut some little scallops out of these washi stickers. And then I have this little banner that I cut out. It says, "Love this." And then I've got this little round sticker that I'm using, which is also kind of like the washi. And it says, "Fresh Start." So I really used words to embellish my layout this time. This collection has so many great words for spring in it, and so here I'm wanting to do that little bit of a strip that she has in her layout in the bottom right. And I was thinking, well, since mine is so close to the bottom, maybe I could just do it up on the side instead of down in the corner. But ultimately I decide I don't like it up on the right hand side. I'm going to leave it on the bottom. So I go ahead and just cut me out some of that washi type sticker. And then it looks like in her layout that she used some staples or something there. So I go ahead and use my tiny attacher, and I cover up the staples on the back with a little bit of washi tape just to protect things. I find if I don't cover up stuff on the back that they can catch on things, and the pressure of it being in my album will actually cause an indent on the layout that's either behind it or well, obviously that's behind it. So just adding that little bit of washi there gives it some cushion to help keep that from happening or having it poke through. And then here I got a big label that I cut out, and again, with Pretty Little Studio has wonderful cutout sheets. And now she has got some little like speech bubbles on her layout. And so this collection had a paper with these little speech bubbles, and I'm just fussy cutting those out. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And I'm excited about this one because it has that little floral on it, which kind of is similar to what she has on her layout with a little flower next to her speech bubble. And then this light green one, it's a square speech bubble that I cut out. And so I've got that down. And now I'm looking to see what else I could put on here. And these beautiful floral stickers. I wanted to put so many on there, but I'm trying to kind of stay minimal. That's not really, usually not really my style to be minimal. But again, this is the Scraplift challenge, and I'm really wanting to stick as close to her layout as I can. And while she was able to do so many layers, and that would have probably much more satisfied my desire to, highly embellish. I'm going to have to pull it back here because my pictures are just too big. But here I have cut another one of those washi strips to get a little bit of a layer here. And in her layout, she has what looks like some rickrack. And this particular washi strip has little squiggles on it. So I was like, oh, that would be perfect to represent the rickrack that she has in her layout. And I just love this layout. It's so pretty. It's crisp and clean and colorful. And I love it. I'm so glad that Rana picked it out for us to Scraplift in this challenge. And speaking of the challenge, make sure that you click on the links below to go over to the Pretty Little Studio fans Facebook group and ask to join so that you too can get in on all of the challenges and get your entries in. I believe the last day to enter is the 30th. So you still have time. So go over and join and get in on the fun. And then here I'm using another of the washi strips, and I'm just putting them on some white cardstock to really help them really be able to see their colors, because in some places I felt like they would kind of, well, not disappear, but just not be as vibrant as I want them. Even though they're going down on a white background, my cardstock is textured. It's got these thin little lines in it, which almost looks like that really used to be that really small corduroy. It's not flat. That's my point. So the washi stickers here really wouldn't stick as well. So I've got them put on this white cardstock and then cut them out. And then here I have this little word sticker that says best day ever on it, and I cut it out with a little bit of a scallop to represent the scallop that's in her little cluster piece there on that left hand side. And then I am going to struggle with my title. It has absolutely stuck to the backing, so I've got to fight with it to get all that off. And I go ahead and get the rest of it off, but I don't make you watch me fight with it. So I get that down, and my title is Hello Cutie, because those little baby squashes, they're actually not totally squashes yet, because they're just the female flower. The female flower of a squash plant has what looks like a little bitty teeny tiny squash underneath the flower. And these flowers, they haven't bloomed yet. And the male flowers don't. So, you know, and it gets, when one is there, and it's so exciting because you can see that teeny tiny little squash. But these haven't been pollinated yet because their flowers haven't bloomed. But it's exciting to see because I'm like, oh yes, I'm finally gonna get squash. It'll be the first time I've gotten squash, and I was so excited. And so you won't see it in this layout because I took pictures of it before I wrote down my journaling. And yes, I did do journaling on this particular layout. But I wrote, I was determined to beat the squash vine borers and actually grow some squash. This year, I decided to start squash from seed in the garden, like in just directly in the garden and not starting it in a little pot and then transplanting it. I didn't write that. That was just my commentary. Anyway, I decided to start squash from seed in the garden in August in hopes that the vine borer's life cycle was pretty much over. The plants got to grow and put on flowers. I was so excited when I started seeing little baby squashes. Yay! And that is the case. I started these seeds on August 1st, and I'm not sure exactly what day this is. It was in the week of August 13th through the 19th when I took these pictures. But none of them got a squash vine borer. And I was so excited. And I got zucchini, and I love zucchini, so I got some zucchini. And that other one that I couldn't remember the name of, I still can't remember the name of, but it's like a little patty pan squash. So it's a little squatty yellow squash with scallops all the way around. They're called patty pans. This is so cute, but I was so excited. And I got some yellow squash, little summer squash, and I was just so happy. So up here in this little cluster at the top, I put little words that says the little things and dare to dream, because I was dreaming I was gonna have some squash. And then I was thinking about journaling, but I had a lot to say and I wanted to think about it some more. So I'm not going to do it now. And I don't like the stark white of the background. I just feel like it's not enclosed. It's not finished. It could just float away. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little doodly border here with my pen, just a black border, and that helps feel like it's complete that way. Everything's going to stay right on the page. And now hers does not have that. I just added that on mine. And then I am going to put on the splatters, and she does have splatters on her layout, and she, again, it's minimal. She's got a few splats here and they look so great, but you know, when I get out my distress mica stains, I go to town. And there we have it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some inspiration, and definitely go and check out the Pretty Little Studio Fans Facebook group, and I hope to see you there and in the next video. Bye bye.